All right. I think it's time we did a little bit of gear shifting and expanded our horizons to take a look at flat Earth. It's this or sovereign citizens. And I decided this might be what I do a little quest for today. So I did the typical YouTube search where I put in whatever search query and then select most recent and look for something. And what I wound up coming across is this relatively fresh channel. Jen at Jenny and Jesus. 70 subs, 20 videos, a lot of short form stuff. What we're going to be looking at is at least the first of these two videos on the Earth is flat. Just want to point out this isn't as rough as it may seem. Because if we switch to this tab, make sure all the tabs are going. Yeah. She's got like 6,000 followers on TikTok. So I mean, they've got some presence. They've been uploading all the short form stuff. So it is what it is. You know, and just because they're fresh on YouTube doesn't mean necessarily they're fresh to putting their ideas out there altogether. So I figured this is at least within the range where I don't feel like I'm being mean simply by covering it. I'll try to be polite in this, but we'll only see so far or how far I can go before I just am like, nope, I'm done being nice. Because y'all know my style. I speak from the heart. Yeah, that's where we'll call it coming from, the heart. So anyway, enough preamble. Looks like we got quite the crowd this afternoon. Let's just get right into this. Come on, come on, play. I'm clicking the button. There you go. God, YouTube work.
Hi everybody and welcome to Jenny and Jesus. This is my first official video and I have had so many ideas of how I want this channel to be, but I think I should just keep it authentic and just talk about the subjects that I'm passionate about. I think that would go a further way, just keeping it all the way 100 about how I feel about everything. And usually
You understand that that's 100% right. It's symbolic of receiving a perfect grade on a piece of classwork. You're not keeping it 100. It's 100%. Why am I arguing and being a fucking boomer on this? Oh, right, because I'm old and I expect people to talk like they got some damn sense. But yes, in all seriousness, oh, that's an unflattering pause. I apologize.
I just talked.
There we go. That's a better one. That's a better one. Um, trying to be nice here. But in all seriousness, yeah, you definitely should be as authentic as possible. Granted, I play a character that has a slightly more eccentric way of presenting my feelings. I do generally share my actual feelings here. Very rarely am I upplaying or downplaying something for the character or for the sake of YouTube. Pretty damn honest. Try to be. But let's see where you go with this.
To everybody at work about this and they don't want to hear it. So I'm really hoping to find people on here.
I wonder why no one wants to hear you talk about flat earth and Jesus and all that. They're probably more receptive to the Jesus, but to the flat earth, most of the world realizes it's a complete load.
That share my interests and share my beliefs, and that we can just create our little community on this corner of the internet. So the first subject I would like to talk about is the earth being flat. So in this video, I will obviously discuss the flat earth as well as where we learned it from, the Bible scriptures stating that the earth is flat.
Except they can also be used to interpret it as round, as Kent Hovind does, because as everyone in my audience knows, we're all absolutely amazed that Kent is not a flat earther. And again, I think that strictly has to do with the time period he grew up in, i.e., being an adolescent to young adult throughout the space program, being big, the space race.
And NASA's extremely interesting logo. So
Symbology. That's all y'all obsess over. You got to look. It's. I don't know if it comes from the same part of the brain that makes people obsessed with religion, or if it's just default in the I'm gonna believe crazy stuff package, because it seems to go hand in hand with religious people and then religious conspiracy nuts that they look for all kinds of way eccentric symbology where it doesn't need to be looked for, where it isn't. Read way too deep into things, but don't read deep enough into anything that actually has any value.
So, when people say the earth is flat, do you ever wonder why they think that? Or do you just
No, because y'all do a pretty good job of explaining some book says a thing. I believe some book. Some book says Earth is flat. I believe some book. And then you come up with all these lies that everyone's propagating to continue to support the idea, just like you do for religion and just like you do for every other crazy conspiracy theory out there?
automatically dismiss them as crazy? Think about the first place that you learned about the flat earth. For me, it was school. And if you didn't go to school for some reason, then NASA. But
Any of y'all ever had an experience where NASA discussed the flat Earth at all? Cause no. And much like I say with creationists and their complaints about basic science, we've moved past that. We are so far past the shape of the planet. It's not a debate. We know it's round. You cry conspiracy, and the moment you have to cry conspiracy for something, unless you can prove that conspiracy, which would be an earth shattering event, no pun intended there where it can be taken, you've got nothing. You've just multiplied the complexity of your claim, because now it's just not just, oh, everything we've interpreted is wrong. No, 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 no. They know it's that way, but now they're lying about it because I know you're going to go there. Something tells me. Maybe it's the fact that every flat earther toes the same line. Maybe it's the fact I've watched Simon Dan and the like tear y'all apart a million times. But I think you're going to cry conspiracy here sooner than later. Also, I'm going to preempt something. NASA isn't the only space agency out there. It's just the one for the United States. Is Roscosmos in on it? Is the ISRO in on it? Is the freaking Zimbabwean space program? Because, I mean, they'll make it there eventually. I support their efforts. Are they in on it too? Is the entire European Space Agency in on it? Oh, of course they are. All conspiracy. But let's let you actually get somewhere.
in school, I clearly remember them telling us that one of the explorers, I want to say Christopher Columbus, but I could be wrong, everybody thought that the earth was flat. And so Christopher Columbus actually sailed it and found out that, hey, it's round and you don't fall off. And it's almost mocked, like, ha ha ha.
Well, way to show that your understanding of history is the same as that of a kindergartner. No, it was already well known at this time that no, the world isn't flat. Even at that time, only idiots who were quite literally uneducated thought that the world was flat. If they thought about such at all, given the other things they had to deal with, like just trying to survive. No, we knew millennia before then that things were round. The world was round. Egyptians knew it. The Greeks knew it. Any primitive civilization that had anything remotely close to science, what we would consider scientific processes today, they could notice patterns. They noticed, hey, you go here, sunlight's at a different angle from if you're here at the same point in time. Uh-oh, let's do some quick math. Just one of many ways we kind of figured it out. That's just the one that sticks with me. Like noticing in Greece, the angle was at such, but in at Egypt it was another, and they'd use that to calculate how big the planet is, and got kind of close. It's pretty awesome. And that was like 2000 BC or something like that. But some book says a thing.
They thought that the earth was flat, but it's actually round and it's a globe. And then they start going into the planets and the stars and the sun and everything. But it is initially mocked, and pretty much you'll think you're crazy. The people will think you're crazy if you say the earth is flat. So,
Because given the amount of reality denial required, it is crazy.
interesting. Now, when we think about school, do they teach us anything of relevance? I mean, they don't teach you how to buy your house. They don't teach you how to pay taxes. They don't teach you how to open a bank
Oh,
account.
oh,
Like, they
oh,
don't.
oh, 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 she just hit the magic words. Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to get a rant that has been a long time coming. Give me a moment to prepare myself. Yes, schools do teach you these skills. More correctly, how to go about figuring out how to do these processes yourself based on the particular criteria that may vary from location to location, from situation to situation, in that you are taught how to read documents, read the documents you're signing, read instructions that tell you how to fill out a given form, instructions that may direct you to perform certain mathematic calculations, usually basic addition and subtraction. That addition and subtraction a child could do. It may be big numbers, but it's still basic stuff. Yes, school actually does teach you how to buy a house, and most certainly how to do your taxes. If you can read and you can do math, you can do those two things. It's not hard. I just use tax prep software to make it easier for me because I'm fucking lazy. American citizen. I don't have state taxes. I take my federal. Oh, I made X amount this year. Okay, what's the deduction this year? Oh, you deduct, let's say 1,800. Okay, squiggle, 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 squiggle. Let's take the X value from there, from the 1,800, or 1,800 from the X value. Oh, look, there's Y value. Hooray! Y value is what I'm actually taxed on. Now, let's see. I'm in this bracket after this, that bracket after this. I have this deduction, that deduction. I fill in the things. It's basically connect the dots with a bit of math thrown in, and there you go. Your taxes are done. You know what I do after I have the systems go through and do my stuff? I look at the numbers and just do a mental math check. And you know what? I don't like doing math. I kind of suck at it, but I still do it. And I'm a fucking idiot. I was constantly failing math in school. Turns out I hate doing math. I like mathematical concepts, but I do a quick check in my head to make sure everything seems sane. It always does, but I feel better doing that and knowing good and damn well that having looked at it, having basically seen all the steps, I knew for a fact, hey, this is how taxes work. Now you can get into the nitty gritty about deductions and what have you. That's whatever. It's still the same basic concept. Reading legalese is trivial if you just take it one element at a time and accept certain things as arbitrary. But no one fucking does that. They want everything spelled out for them in baby language rather than language that's efficient. I've been complimented on my ability to understand and sometimes write some layers of legalese-esque verbiage, which I just have a natural gift for. So then you get into the things of like buying a house. There's usually some middleman, some mediator. You go through them. They handle the nitty gritty. You just do what they say and cough over the bucks. It's really that simple because generally all the problems in life go away if you have money. And it looks like you're doing pretty well for yourself. So I don't know what the fuck you're complaining about. I guess having to have a free thought once in a while that doesn't consist of getting myself prepped up for TikTok videos is a little bit advanced. Look, we made it 2 minutes 14 seconds before I started becoming an asshole. That's impressive. You managed to let me go at least a little while before I started giving you shit. Let's continue.
don't teach you anything really. So if they can't even teach you about real life, why would you trust them?
No, you're just too stupid to understand how to use the basic skills that you're taught. You don't know how to do anything. Oh, but they were supposed to teach me how to do that. No, no, you should be able to figure it out. And granted, there's stuff I can't do, but that's due to my neurodivergency. That's due to anxiety issues. So there's stuff that becomes difficult to do because of special neurological blocks. Because I'm neurospicy, baby. You seem to be pretty normal outside of being a little crazy. So I think you're smart enough, you should be smart enough to be able to figure out how to add some numbers and how to read some documents and how to ask us a couple of questions if you're unsure.
With your
Don't go blaming the fucking school system. School systems fucking suck around the country, yeah. But you still get enough of the basics to where you can survive. If people 150 years ago could survive barely being literate and barely being able to do math and still start up businesses and shit, I think you and I have a nice advantage.
history, why would you trust their historical accounts or anything they tell you for that matter? When I say that the earth is flat,
Yes, there we go. There we go. Going on to the goddamned, oh, how can we trust anything the teachers tell you? Yes, thank you, Tyler. They figured out the earth was round with two sticks, exactly where I was going. I cannot with these people. Cannot with these people.
I don't mean like this. I don't think that it's a flat pancake flying around in outer space, and I don't even believe in outer space, but we'll get into that in another video. But I believe it's more like this. But I mean more like
Of course you do, because some book says a thing, and that's what the people who tout some book saying a thing have decided that it looks like based on their interpretation. Now, here's a thing in between dyeing your hair. You may want to actually prove that if you're so accurate. So, between dye sessions, get to proving it. Otherwise, shut up.
this. You can see that there's a firmament, and you see the waters above the firmament and the waters below the firmament, which they label the great deep. And you can see the sun, moon, and the stars inside it. Now, let's get into the Bible verses.
We need to get this bitch to talk to Kent Hovind. We need to get her to call into Kent Hovind and argue flat Earth. Oh, I don't use this word often, but that would be glorious. And yes, I've become a complete asshole. The moment you pull the "they don't teach you how to do your taxes" card, you lose any sense of respect I have for you. You're a fucking idiot if you can't figure out. If you graduate from school, can't read, and can't do basic math, you're a fucking moron. Read the directions. Do the math. It isn't that
In
hard.
Genesis chapter 1, you can see that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. If you scroll down to verse 1, 6, and 7,
Mental health issues? And you're a student in school? Good fucking luck. You're neurospicy? Everyone's gonna fuck with you non-fucking stop. Feel like just not existing anymore? Tough shit, you gotta go to school anyway. So people can fuck with you some more and teachers can just ignore everything, every warning sign that you're not happy. Because unless you're neurospicy, you don't get it. And for some reason, even now, training in the details of that really fucking poor apparently. It was virtually non existent when I was in elementary school. I wish they would. Did I tell y'all how I found out I might? I still want to get tested on this properly, but the time and money and shit. How I figured out I might likely be on the spectrum was my old art teacher when my younger sister went to the same elementary school as me, and I ran into her again after like 10 years. She had gotten remarried, and her stepson is on the spectrum, a level of Asperger's that may be somewhat similar to what I may or may not have. She was the person who had planted that seed of, hey, this is a condition that exists. You show some signs of it. We wish we'd have known it sooner. Me and her got along great. I loved art classes. So yeah, it would have been nice, but welcome to the 90s. Why rock float on water? I guess it's pumice. The whole world is pumice. I don't know. See, I prefer the celestial turtle idea. And then when someone asks, well, what's the turtle on? It's turtles all the way down. I want that on a shirt. It just says turtles all the way down. Come to DAL, young lady. I'll show you some tidal pumping. Hard. All right, let's continue.
You'll see that God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the water."
Wow, talking to us like we don't know biblical cosmology. I mean, this video isn't directed explicitly to us, but clearly to people who don't actually bother with these subjects and might just stumble across her. We know the cosmology of the Bible pretty damn well. And it's fucking wrong.
Waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament.
No. You got to say it like this. Divided the waters that were above the firmament from the waters that were below the firmament. Also, buy my DVD number 5. See, you got to sell DVD number 5, otherwise you're
And it
losing
was
us.
so. That word for firmament is rakia, and it is Strong's H7549, and it means extended surface, solid, vault of heaven, flat as base support. Now, another
Let's note that she's a KJV. What a surprise there.
mention of the firmament that we see is in Job 37:18, and it says, "Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong and as a molten looking glass?" That word for looking glass is Strong's H7209, pronounced like Ray E, and it's a mirror. The next verse that I want to get into.
Oh, such riveting content. If she had any kind of emotion to her voice and wasn't monotonous as all hell, it'd be fine. And at least this isn't the, Ben Stein monotonous that, I somewhat channel, have to force myself to be dynamic with against. No. This is basic white girl monotonous. Ditzy monotonous. Doesn't have any real problems in her life monotonous. Hate this. Why am I torturing myself? And I'm saying stuff that makes me look like an asshole. And it's like, no, it's not that. It's just, this is beyond stupid.
Is Psalm 104, verse 5. And in this one, it talks about who laid the foundations of the earth, that it shall not be removed forever. Removed means to be moved. So if something has a foundation, it can't be moved. And right here, God states that it can't be removed forever or moved forever. So if something has a foundation, like I don't know about you, but it doesn't move, like the foundation of a house. It's not supposed to move. In Isaiah 48:13, Jesus says, "Mine hand also has laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand up together." So if we're floating around in space, how is there a foundation? Like there would be no foundation. Did you know that there are also
Then maybe the reality we actually experience is obviously not the same as what's depicted in a book written by idiots who didn't understand anything 100 miles outside of the land they tilled every day.
Corners of the earth? Yeah. In Revelation 7:1, it says, "And after all these things, I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree." And I find it really interesting that, a circle could have corners. Like, clearly the earth is flat. There's also another scripture.
No, clearly the Bible says it's flat, which I will 100% get out of here, GeForce Game Ready Driver Update. You know I don't play any games. Sorry, computer's just popping up with updates out of nowhere. Where were we? Oh, right, this garbage. Yeah, the Bible says the earth is flat because it was written by fucking idiots. We agree there. That doesn't mean the actual world is flat. And I joked earlier about you getting into a debate with Hovind, and I know I'm being an asshole here, but I would 100% go through every single hurdle I had to set up you and Hovind to debate what the Bible says about the shape of the earth. I would love to see that, and I know my audience would. And you know what's funny? We'd be rooting for you. Ken Hovind would be saying what's correct, that the earth is round, but we'd be rooting for you because the debate is what the Bible says the shape of the earth is, not what it actually is. So we'd want you to win because, given the question, you would be the correct one. But that's the only reference frame in which you're correct.
In Job 37:3, which also talks about the corners. Job is talking about Jesus here, and he says, "He directs it under the whole heaven, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth." So another word for ends is corner. The word for corner is kanaf, which is Strong's H3671. Did you also know there were pillars?
Hey. Guild Wars 2 is a game from 2012, all right? I'm talking about new games. I may not have said the operative word new games. So, yeah. But Gringaldi, he did get me. Screw up my sleep schedule and make sure I hit every reset. Should end up being the fifth Miss Hovind, possibly.
Of the earth? In 1 Samuel 2:8,
I mean, she fits the bill.
he raises up the poor out of the dust, and lifts up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. Just to recap, we have
Okay, I don't know if anyone else is listening with headphones, but there is a weird phenomena when she's in these video frames where like there's a secondary recording happening just a split second afterwards and it's hitting my left ear like a weird echo. Could actually be an echo, but it seems like an actual separate piece of audio. It's so weird. I'm not trying to be mean about that one. It's just I notice it. It's weird.
established that there is a firmament. God has laid the foundations of the earth. There are four corners of the earth, and there are pillars. I don't know how that's going to line up with NASA. Like,
NASA came about in 1958. We knew the world was round before that. For fuck's sake, we had gotten to supersonic flight, level flight, 11 years before then. We already had the atomic bomb. Come on.
how is supposedly the earth that is ever expanding just spinning through
What? No? You think we believe in an inflationary Earth? Oh, good lord. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, do I need to forward this chick to Dan? Or should I keep this for myself? Because, man, maybe I'm the only person who's an asshole enough to tackle this. Dan can't be that mean. Creaky? Sir Sick, definitely. There you go. There's who I should get in touch with.
Space on an axis with pillars, corners, and a foundation. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So,
Yeah, what the Bible says doesn't make any sense. I'm glad you're learning.
the final point that I would like to make for this video is NASA's logo. Let's take a look at it.
Yes, you're gonna insult the meatball. Hang on. Let me put on my. Wait, I can't put on my hat for this one. I got the headphones on. There we go. It's sort of on. I probably look like a dumbass. Actually, let me look at myself real quick. How do I look? Oh yeah, yeah, I look like an idiot. All right, let's continue.
Now, when you go on Google and
For those who don't know, if you haven't actually seen a picture of me, which is going to be a lot of you, I have a NASA shuttle commander style hat that was a thrift find forever ago that I regularly wear. It's beat up to hell and back, but it's my hat. Yeah, it's got the worm logo on it right there, except in gold. Yeah, sure. Love the worm logo, which is what that's called, in case you were wondering, and that's called the meatball logo.
search NASA logo,
And that's the old meatball logo. I forget the exact name for it. And that is the shuttle program emblem. In this particular case, I'm pretty sure that's for STS-1, April 12th, 1981. Conveniently exactly 20 years to the day after Yuri Gagarin's flight back in 61. It wasn't planned like that. There were delays, and it just happened to put it on that date. Beautifully poetic.
you will see this interesting blue photo that looks like the earth and stars, this circle.
Wow, way to click on it and make it smaller. Couldn't you have just gone to the Wikipedia article and pulled up the logo?
But what I want you to
I
focus
mean,
on
I'm not trying to be mean here explicitly, but seriously, you gotta think for a second, maybe this isn't the best way to go about things.
is this strange red V-shaped thing. Now,
It's a lifting body shape. It represents aeronautics. It represents supersonic to hypersonic aeronautics. The blue sphere represents simultaneously the Earth and space. The orbiting little circle dealy there represents orbit. It's a very beautiful logo, and I think the red lifting body shape is actually my favorite part of it.
now, if you're unsure what that is, it is a serpent. Right here, you can see it.
Oh, it's okay. That's actually kind of cool that someone thought that and edited that together, but no, it's an airfoil body. It's the lifting body. It's representing high speed air travel. That's what it is. Stammering because it's like, how do you not get this? Oh, right. I guess you didn't spend your childhood watching documentaries on aircraft, space travel and the like. I don't even know what you did, but it certainly wasn't that. But I'm the loser. See, this is what being the popular kid in school gets you, thinking the Earth is flat because no one's going to question you. Oh yeah, sure. She's pretty, so she can say whatever stupid thing she wants.
So I know that the serpent is edited in, but that's literally what it is. And here, NASA literally puts a serpent tongue right in our face. You know, we're not stupid. We have spiritual eyes to see. And who is this serpent?
10 years and one day after. Well, which moon landing? Are you talking about Apollo 11? Because that's what I'd imagine. But there were 6 moon landings. Would have been 7. I mean, would have been more than that. But the Apollo program had gone to completion like it was supposed to without an issue. It would have been 7. I mean, yeah, 7. I mean, I was born 9.5 years after Apollo Soyuz test project. So there's that. Nothing special. Assumed it was rocket exhaust. Yeah, that can be interpreted that way, but it is a lifting body shape. I always want to say lifting body. It's fast plane shape. Fast plane go scree, sonic boom, ree on down. Terrible jet sounds. Jets do not go ree, but it's supposed to be turbine howl. Anyway,
We are first introduced to the serpent in Genesis chapter 3, where Adam.
are you going to call the serpent Satan? Because you're wrong. Are you going to do it? I'm waiting for you to do it. I see it coming.
And Eve were not to eat of the tree that was in the midst of the garden, because it was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But we all know that the serpent was more subtle than any other creature that God had created, because the serpent beguiled Eve. And that word for beguiled is Strong's H5377, and it is nasha, but it looks like NASA. Now, the word NASA is
Man, we got a modern day Nostradamus here. What a genius. What an incredible chain of logic. This word, when Latinized and Romanized and put into context for our language and the way we speak, kinda happens to look like this acronym. It's evil. It's a conspiracy. Yes, because they leave the clues in plain sight because all the conspiracists are complete idiots. It can't just be that you're making up shit.
is used many times in the Bible as Nashah or different pronunciations, but the very first time that NASA is used is to beguile or to deceive. So it's just funny that the NASA that teaches us about the globe and outer space and all these things with the Hubble telescope, all the stuff, they decide to name themselves NASA, which one of the meanings is to deceive.
No. National Aeronautics and Space Administration spawned from NACA. National what was NACA? National Advisory Committee on Aeronautics. All right, my brain just as soon as I start typing it in, put it. We updated because hey, Soviets got a satellite up there. Oh shit, they got a second one and it's got a damn dog on it. Oh snap, there's a third one. Uh-oh, Vanguard up. We better get ourselves in gear. Hey, there went Explorer 1. Okay, we need an organization to really get this going. Let's take our advisory committee for aeronautics and give them a bigger budget and let them handle spacey stuff. Let's see, we'll get Lockheed, we'll get Martin involved, we'll get North American Aviation. See, we got these missiles. We'll use surplus missiles to send up stuff. Hey, Redstone will be good for suborbit. Oh, Atlas, that'll get a small crude capsule into orbit. Titan 2, yeah, that'll do a bigger capsule. Hey, we got the German guys worked on this big Saturn rocket. It's not really good for launching a missile. Launching as a missile, it's just too damn big. We'll build a program around that. Hey, we can get to the fucking moon. That's kind of how it all went. It's not that complicated. It's no conspiracy. The bigger concern should be the fact that we use freaking Nazis. We don't want to talk about that. And I love Werner von Braun, but he was a fucking Nazi. He did benefit from slave labor. V2s weren't built by hard-working German citizens. They were built by slaves. I find it disturbing thinking that I've stood right in front of an engine for a V2, knowing good and damn well that it was built by concentration camp slaves. Admiring its engineering made me feel very uneasy for the fact that I knew who actually built it. Sometimes we gotta make sacrifices for progress, though. But if you want to talk about a conspiracy, talk about something weird, talk about something that, is a little unpleasant, that's where you'd want to go involving NASA. Not bullshit regarding the name and someone who decided to Photoshop in that, oh, that looks kind of like a serpent's tongue. The logo's from fucking 58. What are the late 50s, early 60s, somewhere in that range? What do you expect it to have, but not that exact kind of styling? But, just like you clearly are too stupid to be able to do taxes or buy a house or read anything, you probably can't comprehend the different styles and aesthetics that the world has had through the 20th century, as we had one of our first opportunities to really start going in fanciful directions with um, logotypes that would be seen potentially globally. Where am I going with this? I don't know. I just felt like having another rant. How y'all doing? Good to see you. Except that one guy. He's a dick.
Now, the last point I want to make about the NASA logo is, who is the serpent? Well, in Revelation 12:9, we learn, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. My final thoughts about this video in particular is, question what they tell you, because I don't care who says it. Where is your foundation? For me, my foundation is in the Word of God, because
No, it's in your particular group's interpretation of some stupid ass book written by idiots that for some reason morons still believe, convince others to believe, and you went full idiot on it, even more so than Kent Hovind. Damn. I'm glad I picked this.
He made the heavens and the earth. He made us. He breathed his life into us, and he died.
And yes, key plans were up to Apollo 20, and then stuff started getting canceled, partly for the space shuttle program and also due to other reasons. But 20 and 19 were, I think, early cancellations, and 18 was because of the shuttle program. Like at that point, that was where funding got diverted, and that way they could do Skylab. So in a way, Skylab kind of killed Apollo lunar missions, but I love Skylab, so we will not fault that. I think we got a lot of good data from Skylab.
For us. He shed his blood for us. The greatest sacrifice you can make is laying down your life for your friends. Like, that's how much he loves you. So if you believe that part of the Bible, why wouldn't you believe page 1, or where it states it over and over and over again? Why would you trust Satan, who runs this whole world and literally puts it in the NASA logo? You really have to ask yourself. Don't just believe what they tell you. Question things. A smart person questions things. They don't just accept it and go with the flow. Now, I'm not saying every single thing in this world is bad, but when you know that the world is run by Satan, you need to question it. So I hope that this video blessed you. Please, if you liked the video, please like, share, comment, subscribe. It would really help me out, and I look forward to posting some more videos for you guys. Have a great day. God bless.
Yeah. Oof. Do I even want to look at part 2, or should I come back at it later? Because I don't know. I mean, part 2 was a few hours ago. I don't think I have the energy for it. I just don't. It's hot in here right now. I want to work on some other stuff. This has been 45 minutes. This has been a good stream. And Grungvaldi, that sums up everything. Thank you for eventually getting to that ass clown in the chat. Because false ideas. Let me go through what this idiot decided to pop up with, because it was the typical garbage of the supreme lords of idiocy. The moment you put up flat Earth, you know good and well you're going to get all those morons in. Let me go to where this dumbass first appeared. Starts with ridiculous insults. First thing you get right, you're a loser. It's like, oh yeah. Yes, I'm not the one who thinks the earth is flat, you moron. Let's see. Then it pops up. And it's funded by St. Dennis Jack Parsons, full satanic Freemasons. No. And then pops up with the question is what that Grunwaldy was responding to. Blowing for flat Earth. Why waste time talking about it? Because other idiots believe this shit. That is not a response. That's not a shutdown of reactionary content of discussing subjects. People believe this shit, so it's going to be discussed. And you idiots coming in here talking like you're actually going to do anything other than get ridiculed is fucking silly. Now, if you want to go on your 12-hour shows with fucking whatever the fuck their names are and ramble on about this shit, mock me or whatever, go right the fuck ahead. I don't give a goddamn. You're not worth my time beyond what content I can make ridiculing you so I can get that sweet, sweet cheddar. So thanks with $sign for the comment, Jim Toker, you fucking moron. Von Braun has Psalms 91 on his gravestone. What the fuck does it matter? Y'all look for fucking symbolism everywhere and everything. God, you're fucking idiots. You're fucking idiots. Irony's delicious. Let's see. Deviant wants me to do it. Do it now. I'm apparently on a roll, according to Deviant, or according to Laura. Brown also talked exploring other worlds, especially the Red Planet. Yep. Von Braun was who Elon Musk thinks he is. What's your adding me at Lord Yamato? Still, it's Yamato. You can just say Chris. God. Stream yesterday on Kent's property, saw birds in the cage in a tour. I wanted to say the birds could talk. They would say, run, get out while you can. Been crocheting, haven't caught up with the chat. Restream, there you go. Yeah. You can just say stream. Man, the party's all getting here. Y'all, you know, I think I can do something for y'all. Just give me a moment to get something going. We are going to trying to think of some hold music real quick before we go to part 2 of this idiocy, because we're going to go on and do it. Okay. You know what? We're just going to do something ridiculous. I'm going to put up a Beatmania 2DX animation while I go grab a drink real quick. So this gives me 1:40. Just going to let this play while I go do that. So y'all just stick around for a moment. Okay, I have returned. Um, yeah, that's some of the crazy stuff Konami's had in their music games through the very late '90s on through the 2000s. I needed something, and that one being called the Earth Light. We're talking about flat Earth. Yeah, you know, crocheting a kitty. Let's see. Mad hankering for kitties. There are dreams about waking me up with a bunch of kitties. Yes, I hath returned. All right. So we got done with that. Let me pull the crazy back up. I'll find history in Chrome because I don't use Chrome. There we go. History. Go back to Jen's channel. Click on the share tab. Plus, I'm pretty sure Konami won't claim that music. And even if it does, I'll just, cut it out later. All right, let's go to part 2. 3 hours ago. Why not?
To Jenny and Jesus. This is going to be part 2 of the Flat Earth series. And yes, you heard me correctly, the Earth is flat. Now, I can guarantee.
No, I've already seen your video, so I'm not surprised at that. I'm surprised this is going to be a series. Also, you say this is Jenny and Jesus, but I ain't seen no Jesus. It's just been you sitting there.
That there is a box below me that says, Flat Earth is an archaic belief and scientifically disproven.
Yes, because it is. But of course, YouTube providing extra information and context is seen as part of the conspiracy, hence you ridiculing it as you did. Because of course.
But scientist, Satanist, same thing to me for real.
Yes, while you use technology that is based on science, using makeup products that are based on science. In your, room of the place you're living, that engineers who use science figured out how to, get to be structurally sound. Need I go on while you use your story blocks, in an automatic little stock footage clip?
I mean, think about it. We are literally indoctrinated to believe this. The
Look out! Somebody paid for a Storyblocks membership, and they're going to get the whole use out of however long it is, however much it is. Maybe it's the free trial. I don't know.
indoctrination begins in school and continues with NASA. At this point, you're probably convinced that we live on a globe. But let me just ask you one question. I actually have a little experiment for you. Get a bowl of water and spin with it.
Rotate that bowl of a bowl of water one time, once a day, at that speed. Do that. Set it up with a 15 degree per hour drift, and show me how much it moves. Y'all know y'all look stupid as fuck when you say this, right? You know you sound stupid as fuck because it's stupid as fuck. Y'all got anything better? Are we just going to hear the same crap from you we hear from every other flatard out there? Oh, wait, of course we are, because you idiots have nothing. Well, he tells she says 8 miles per mile squared or some shit like that.
What happens? The water spills everywhere. So you want me to believe that on a small bowl, it spills out everywhere?
You literally say the operative word right there. Small. This is the thing with you flat earthers. You just can't comprehend. Earth big. Everything else small. Humans small. Earth big. Okay? Earth big. Guy's head big. Little tiny water on the image. This little puff from the fountain looks small. It's big. That's because it's in the distance. So it's actually a terrible analogy. I don't know. I was seeing if I could work with something here, but okay, we'll do better. Guy's head big. Little clover small. But that's still not the scale we're working with. And just this is what's on screen, so that's where I'm going with it. Keep on going.
everywhere. But on the grand scheme of things, on this huge planet that's covered in water, it doesn't fall out. Oh, but they'll tell you it's gravity. But did you know that gravity is only a theory?
Oh my god, this stupid cunt said it. Oh, this stupid cunt said it. Wow. We're dealing with a top tier idiot here. I'm gonna remotely be nice. This is a full grown adult. They should know better. She deserves this.
not a fact. Universal gravity is a theory.
Yes, just like atomic theory and germ theory and every other scientific theory out there. Because you're too fucking retarded to understand that theory means working model and is effectively the highest status that something can reach in science as a concept, being analogous to it being proven. And yes, I dropped the R word because you'd have to be that mentally inhibited for that word to qualify to say this kind of crap. There is nothing going on between the ears.
Einstein's theory of general relativity. They don't want you to question anything. But when you start questioning things, you'll see that a lot of what they said, if not all of it, makes no sense. They condition and program people to believe that we are spinning on a ball, just
Ah, yes, the claims of conspiracy is more ridiculous stock footage plays.
flying through space endlessly. And just ask yourself, well, why would they lie? Well, they want to eliminate God. I mean,
Ah, yes. Oh, yes, that's all the scientists want to do, is eliminate this stupid ass idea that only fucking idiots like you obsess over. Because God hurt their fifi. It can't be that actual fucking reality shows there's no fucking God or any of the bullshit in your magic book of idiocy at all has any concordance with reality. Oh, no, no, no. It's all a conspiracy. Because you can't accept a world where Magic Sky Daddy doesn't exist. Because you just have to proverbially kiss his ass 24 fucking 7. I did not expect this bitch to piss me off, but here we are.
think about it. If you're on planet G47 discovering water on their moon, why would you need God? I mean, we can just go live on Mars eventually or some other planet. We can create our own reality.
No, but we can go to other planets. We've been to our moon. Of course, you don't believe that, but we've been there, baby. Even if your Magic Sky Daddy existed, that'd still be true. It would just mean the book's fucking wrong. But it doesn't matter because, with or without your deity existing, the book's fucking wrong.
Create our own world and be our own God. But, like, no. In all actuality, God loves us. We are the
Yes. Yes. This deity that destroys this, that, and the other on a whim, who's a total dickbag to his most faithful just to prove a point. One who won't cure childhood cancer and won't regrow limbs, but sure as hell make sure that pedophiles who repent, they're fine and dandy up in heaven. You know, the little child who's molested, little Johnny, dies in a car crash. Mommy and Daddy go to hell because they weren't saved. But little Jimmy, he was a little bit more of a believer, and he was innocent. But he was also molested by his Uncle Carl, who, guess what, died the previous year. And guess who's up there in heaven because he loved Jesus so much? Uncle Carl. Yeah, you think little Jimmy really wants to see him up there? Think he'd rather see his mommy and daddy, but no, they're burning for all eternity because they didn't believe hard enough in the right particular way. You're fucking retarded. Have I said that enough yet?
the center of his love and affection, not the universe. The universe isn't even real. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and then he placed a firmament. So God is sitting above on his throne, above the firmament. We are the center of his love.
Citation needed, bitch. Also, if he's sitting up there so high, can you see what I'm doing right now? Yeah, middle finger right up there. Oh, wait, he can't because he doesn't exist.
He cherishes us and loves us, and they don't want you to know that, and that's why they lie to you. Now, I believe that the stars and constellation rotate around us, or rather
Constellation, just the one.
rotate around Polaris, not the other way around. And Polaris may be God's throne, but I don't know. I'm just speculating. But
Ooh, careful. You women folk ain't supposed to think on your own. What with all the time you're supposed to spend dyeing your hair and applying lip filler and shit.
what I can tell you for sure is
Lip liner, I should say, but I mean, there's some filling going on there. I don't know. I don't want to be that petty, but fuck it.
if you look at any time lapse of the stars in the night sky, you will see that they rotate around Polaris. And
Hey, yeah. And you know what happens if you do that in the area commonly called the southern hemisphere? They'll rotate around a central point down there as well. Even more fascinating, the pattern shown in the angle you have to aim at to be aimed at that point matches but is opposite of the direction and angle from the same latitude in the northern hemisphere. Almost as if the planet is hold on to your hats, guys. Almost as if the planet's round. What a shock.
think about it, the constellations have never changed. We have the same
Except they have. They do. And they will. Takes a while there, sweetie.
stars that we've had over 2,000 years ago. And if we're ever expanding, well, why haven't the stars changed? Don't they live and die? Like, don't the stars have a life cycle? Like,
Yeah, and I know numbers above 1,000 are way too big for you, but stars live for billions of years. Most of them are doing just fine at various stages. We live for usually 100 tops. Multiple orders of magnitude longer do the stars exist than we will.
I don't know. When you start really questioning NASA and space and everything they tell you, you will find out it makes absolutely no sense. But then you'll be labeled archaic. So, anyway,
Yes, because it is archaic. Hang on, look, there it is right there. There it is right there, what she's complaining about. Dumbass. One comment and it hadn't shown yet.
in this video, we are going to look into NASA. Have you ever wondered who actually created NASA? It was actually Dwight D. Eisenhower, a president in 1958. Like,
Wow, what a surprise that a president of the United States declared the creation of a government organization in the United States. Whoa. Whoa. Hey, that's almost like how I chose what I was going to eat for lunch. What a shocker. It's a conspiracy. Chris picked his own lunch out. Oh, Satan's in on it, I tell you.
what? A president? I would have thought a scientist, right? But it's weird because isn't this the same president that supposedly met with aliens? I don't know.
If you're smoking high grade crack, the fuck are you on about?
I found that really interesting. 2 years later, in 1960, President Eisenhower transferred his rocket development group to a man named Werner von Braun. Accordingly,
Werner von Braun. You uncultured twat.
von Braun became director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center.
Yeah, place I've been. If you're gonna go to Alabama, that's where you go. Don't go to Dinosaur Adventureland. Go to Huntsville. Go to Redstone Arsenal. Go to the Marshall's Flight Center. Go to the museums. Nice stuff. Remember, I've eaten German food under a Saturn V rocket. You probably spent 3 hours putting on your makeup for this video.
And chief architect.
And yes, I'm being a petty asshole. At this stage, what the hell does it matter?
Of the Saturn V launch vehicle.
A gussied up idiot is still an idiot. And that's the nice things we say about her.
And there is so much with Saturn, but I'm going to get into that in another video.
Oh my god, this bitch is going to go on the Saturn name. Okay, so the evolution from Redstone, the Redstone missiles, which were a direct descendant of the V2 rockets from Nazi Germany, was the Juno family, i.e. the Jupiter series. Saturn was developed as a Super Jupiter rocket, hence the name Saturn was applied to that family of boosters. So indeed, the beautiful, massive Saturn V is technically in design heritage a direct descendant of the V2. If not exactly as one would expect, in kind of the same way the Delta IV was still a Delta, even though it's a completely different booster. That's neither here nor there, though. Y'all know how I am with rocketry, but that's why it's called Saturn, because it was the Super Jupiter. Hell, in Kerbal Space Program, my modifications to the Saturn boosters from the FASA project, Jupiter, Saturn, I always called those Neptune, because it was the next stage. Actually, it's Uranus, Neptune, but I decided to go Neptune. Uranus was weird. Uranus was weird, Howard. But don't get started on the fucking name. Good lord, you are just 18 layers of crazy.
Why is this important? Well, that vehicle would propel Americans to the moon. This is also the rocket that sent the first American astronaut, Alan Shepard, on a suborbital flight.
No, it isn't. It says right here, Mercury Redstone. It tells you right there, you are illiterate, you dumbass. This particular variant of the Redstone medium-range ballistic missile, specially designed for these Mercury flights. Best it could do is a suborbital hop, but it got us to space while we worked out the last few issues with Atlas for crewed launches.
He's considered the first American in space. Shortly after Shepard's successful flight, President Kennedy challenged America to send a man to the moon. And in 1969, it happened. That was only
Yeah, because we busted ass and actually spent money where we needed to be spending it. Imagine if NASA had that budget now and most of it wasn't being funneled into the commercial space program with that fucktard Musk. If you're gonna fund big business, Blue Origin and ULA are the way to go.
9 years after Eisenhower appointed Werner von Braun. Von Braun would go down in history to be one of the most important rocket developers and champions of space exploration in the 20th century.
Him, Robert Goddard, Herman Oberth. Oh, hey, look, work for Herman Oberth. There he is mentioned right there. Is Goddard mentioned anywhere? I mean, Oberth, since it was in Germany, he would have known about Oberth's stuff. But eventually he got heavily interested in in fact, that was a big thing in Germany in the pre-World War II years was rocketry. They were obsessed with what Robert Goddard had done. That was von Braun's thing.
So, why does this matter? Well, I think that we can agree that based on NASA's own website, Wernher von Braun was a crucial part.
No, Alan Shepard and Gus Grissom did did a suborbital flight each in Mercury Atlas, and then the first American to orbit the Earth, if memory serves, February 20th, 1962, was John Glenn. That was launched on an Atlas. That Atlas booster was able to actually get a Mercury capsule into orbit.
Part to sending the first man to space and to the moon. Well, did you know that when Wernher von Braun died, he put something very interesting on his tombstone?
Wow, it's all the garbage that this idiot earlier was plopping in. Beautiful. Way to go. Y'all say the same shit over and over. Gets old. Doesn't matter. This is what he wanted on there.
Wernher von Braun died shortly after the successful moon mission, and he put Psalm 19:1 on his tombstone. That reads, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork."
Yeah. He decided to put some religious symbology in there in the idea of celebrating the nature of space. What is he supposed to have changed or edited what he said in there? Psalm 19:1 asterisk revision edition? Or how about it's just a nice bit of symbology and metaphor that, again, you idiots look into and think way too deep on?
There's that word again, firmament. Now let me
Yes, because the book uses that word. He's just making a reference. It isn't that complicated.
ask you, why would somebody that was exploring space and the moon and doing all this stuff with NASA and la la yay, why would he put the firmament on his tombstone? He could have put anything, but he made sure to tell us because all.
Or how about he wanted something symbolic and quite beautifully short for his epitaph? Because he admired the beauty of space, of the universe, of our place in it, and wanted something to capture that. Can you not grasp this concept? And Laura, yeah, Grissom was Liberty Bell 7. Hatch blew while it was in the ocean. He almost fucking drowned. Then he was on the first crewed flight of a Gemini capsule, Gemini 3, along with John Young. That went over well. And then, yeah, Apollo 1 happened. Odds are Gus Grissom would have actually been the first man on the moon had Apollo 1 not happened.
All they do is lie, and the firmament shows God's handiwork. Like, again, I don't.
Or he just wanted something beautiful and poetic. It's not that complicated, but you conspiracy nuts, that's all y'all fucking do is look for weird symbology and pattern seeking and all kinds of shit. Because you're obsessed with it, because reality can't just be reality.
don't care what NASA says. Look into things and question them for yourself. Now, the other super interesting thing about NASA is they have a lot of documents. But did you
Oh, wow. Documents. Hey guys. Do you know having a lot of documents is interesting? I didn't. I just learned this. Holy shit. This bitch ever heard of the Bell system? You want to know how many documents we just have archived digitally that, we actually have, as opposed to so many that are lost? You think NASA having a lot of documents is interesting? Check out the Bell system. I mean, NASA probably does have more, but still. You would make it 5 minutes understanding the details of a panel sender. You wouldn't. As soon as it gets to the relay maps, your brain would completely fry out. Revertive pulse isn't just the name of one of the domains I have. It's also a communications method used by panel. Very elegant, very nice way to avoid patent issues with Stroger's patents for typical dial pulse technology. But we're not here to talk about telephony, and we are kind of here to talk about NASA, but sadly not in the way I would like to. So let's continue.
Did you know that some of those documents actually state that the Earth is flat? Like,
No, they don't. Documents that she'd be referring to are ones that, for the purposes of the math, not having to accommodate for curvature, still get you a reasonable result, because otherwise it becomes incredibly complicated to do the math. For those of you out there who are bits of fans of aviation, you might notice in fighter jets and the like that the air intakes at a point in the late 60s, early 70s go from being rounded or curved to rectangular. Compare an F4 Phantom with its curved intakes to the F-14 Tomcat or the F-15 with its rectangular intakes. You know why they did that? It seems unintuitive, but there's a very good reason why they did that. The fluid mass doesn't actually care what kind of shape it's going through, and it turns out the math is easier if you're not working with fucking circles. So rectangles made the math easier for the engineers. That's why they're all squared out now. Sometimes dealing with simpler geometric shapes solves the problem. But no, put in the story block of the girl being surprised, sure, because God forbid you show a fucking emotion, probably too laden with Botox, burned out hard in your late teens. You're already like, got a Botox here, got a Botox here. God, I'm being mean, but you know what? She's too fucking stupid to be nice to. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be a fucking asshole.
what? So I'm going to give you some of the names of those documents, and you just come to your own conclusion after reading them. Okay, so the first document that we're going to go over is Determination of Angles of Attack and Side Slip from Radar Data. And
Ron McNair also played saxophone in space. I believe his other space flight before Challenger, before 51L, was another flight on Challenger. I could be mistaken on that.
a roll-stabilized platform. In the abstract,
Like I know Judy Resnick flew on Discovery for her flight before for 51L.
it states, the method is limited, however, to application where a flat, non-rotating Earth may be assumed.
Yes,
Like,
may be assumed. It simplifies the math. Trust me, you don't want to do math that involves calculating for the fucking curvature of this giant ass rock we call home unless you absolutely have to. Okay? Really, really fucking sucks. But again, if you'd paid attention in math, you'd understand this. But you think doing your taxes is too complicated. So, of course, the kind of calculus necessary to handle orbital trajectories and the like would be a bit much.
what? I thought we live on a globe. So why, for your determination of angles and whatever you're doing, are you
The
assuming
fact that you call it whatever you're doing means you have no fucking clue what's actually going on and probably are not a person who should be commenting on what is said in the document. If you don't understand the vast majority of it, what makes you think your interpretation of those particular lines has anything to do with the actual thought, what's actually being said there? That you're at all, your interpretation is at all correct. I'm sorry, she's just frying my brain. Bitch special. Here, I fucking said it. See, you got the Memphis accent coming out. How does that make you feel? She wouldn't last 5 minutes in the city.
that the Earth is flat and non-rotating? I just make it make sense. That's all. The next document is Investigation of Aircraft Landing in Variable Wind Fields. In the equations of the motion section, the aircraft trajectory model employed in this study was derived based on the following assumptions. And you can see all the assumptions, but the very first one that they name is that they are assuming that the Earth is flat and non-rotating. And friends,
Yeah, if you tried to do the math on a round rotating globe when it's not necessary, that ain't fun, baby.
This is right on NASA's website. Anybody can look at this. Again, I just find that extremely interesting. The
Ah,
third
yes.
document
Assume the cow is a sphere. In other words, my ex-wife. Alvin.
I found is US Standard Atmosphere of 1962. And in this one, when you get to this page, it says, for the accuracy required in this document, it suffices to treat the surface as an ellipsoid whose flattening ellipsity is. So when you look at the ellipsoid, it's like
Have you looked up what flattening ellipsity is? Do you understand what those words mean? I don't think you do. You just saw flat and creamed your pants over it.
the globe. It's like how they think that Earth is, but just in like a stranger shape.
The s'mores you're probably referring to, which you'll hear in the distance. If I hit my desk, the ringers on my Model 5302 phone to the left of me, the microphone is literally a foot away from it, will ring. They'll clang just a hair. So that's what you sometimes hear the bell sound for. Surprised you hadn't noticed till now.
Like I thought we were a perfect circle or sphere, but I don't know. I just can't keep up with their lies. But the point is they are
Inverse square law, tidal pumping, Hovind. Hovind would probably pump to that, Hovind.
flattening that ellipsoid. Why are you flattening it if it's round? Why are you stating that the globe is flat and non-rotating?
It's not, because you can't read. Literally says just an assumption to make the math easier. Anyone who understands this stuff can understand that. You can read between the lines. You're too stupid to understand this. I'm amazed you were able to find these documents. Oh, wait, you didn't find them. Some other dumbass flirfs did, and you're just piggybacking off of them because that's all you idiots do.
Just makes absolutely no sense. Now, I'm sure that there are more documents, but in the Bible it says, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. And NASA done snitched on themselves with 3 witnesses.
NASA done snitched on themselves. Okay. Go back to Skibbity Toilet or whatever you grew up on, little missy. The adults are playing in the actually understanding reality field. And the whole thing about the Earth being an oblate spheroid, it barely matters when you're doing these calculations. And for gravity proper, it means fuck all. There's little differences, but it's nothing you need to accommodate for beyond like some extreme stuff. Specialty cases where you need something like a very, very particular orbit, and you know that gravitational perturbations caused by different densities of the Earth, of the material of the Earth at different areas will cause slight aberrations. Geosynchronous satellites, for example, have a little bit of an issue sometimes, depending on where they're orbiting. Incidentally, there's only a few orbital paths of the moon that are actually stable. Gravitational perturbations, because of the varied density of the moon, will cause a lot of things to fall out of orbit. Apollo 11's lunar module was left in orbit, but it was a unstable one that it was left in. Like 1 or 2 later missions, they had it in a more stable orbit, and there were some satellites released, some microsats released that were supposed to be in more stable orbits, but still they're not totally stable. Which is funny, thinking that, oh, orbit the Earth and you can keep on going for a good while, even with atmospheric drag, but orbit the moon, you're gone in a month. I forget the exact details. It's been a while.
Of 3 documents. Now, in order to make this indoctrination stick, they had to create an icon. And that icon is Robert Simon, who was known as Mr. Blue Marble. You know the blue marble that's on every iPhone, that's everywhere? Like, it's literally everywhere. Because
Oh, you mean the Apollo 17 photo that's being recreated here? Okay. Time for you to bitch about that. You gonna claim photos are fake? Because that's more for the script. Remember, Jesus is here too. So lying for Jesus, okay.
they want you to believe it's so bad. But did you ever wonder like how they got that photo of the Earth, or like why that's the representation of the globe? Well,
It's a very beautiful photo, and it was taken during Apollo 17. The particular landing spot for Apollo 17 was a little more adventurous than the others. Flight path was a little different, and it ended up resulting in, due to the time they were going to be landing at, because they always tried to land in the morning, that particular orbit that they'd enter, or the particular path they were taking at the particular time they were taking it, allowed for a very nice photo to be taken. Just happened to be in the right place at the right time, just like every one of us has ever taken a nice photo of a sunset coming out of work. Hey, that looks pretty. Click. Just right place at the right time. They had cameras up there. They had free reign to take photos of pretty much whatever they wanted. Preferable target, sure. But if they wanted to look out the window and take a shot of the moon, they had liberty to do that. I mean, take a shot of the Earth. Sure as hell took a lot of photos of the moon, especially when we were on it.
Well, don't worry, I'll show you. And I'll do it once again by NASA's website. In this document, they interviewed Robert Simon and asked him, "What do you do? And what is most interesting about your role here at Goddard? How do you help support Goddard's mission?" And he said, "My role is to make imagery from Earth sciences data. I turn data into pictures." So right there,
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go with the it's all CGI crap.
you're just guessing based on data of what the Earth should look like.
No, you smug cunt.
All right, what is the coolest thing ever done as a part of your job at Goddard? The last time anyone took a photograph from above low Earth orbit that showed an entire hemisphere side of the globe was in 1972 during Apollo 17. I'm going to cut him off right there.
So let us notice the verbiage there. The last time anyone, as in a person, took a photo of an entire hemisphere. This requires that an actual person with camera equipment is at something further than low Earth orbit, at a distance enough to where such a photo could be taken. The last time anyone was ever in a position to be able to do that was during the Apollo 17 mission. We hadn't gone that high again since. That's a pretty cool little stuff, and these are SpaceX thingies, so they are still their own little privatized missions, but we had some pretty cool ones that went kind of high up, and we had that polar mission and whatever, but still, for anything of that scale, nah.
Because he's already lying. So all I did was ask Google if they took pictures of the Earth from the moon. And it says,
Which is not what the blue marble photo is. It's not a picture of Earth from the moon. Yes, photographs of Earth were taken from the lunar surface, but those aren't particularly beautiful photos because they're done with engineering in mind. They were done with research in mind. Plus, sun was kinda out, and they're on the surface. They're not hunkered up inside of the command module. Little bit of different photographic conditions there. But we do have an interesting one that is of the glowing Earth and has some stars around it. Because I'm sure you're eventually going to whine about stars not being in the photos, because you of course don't have the slightest comprehension of a single facet of photography, especially when it comes to actual film. Because all the film stock left on Earth, just about, would have expired by the time your idiotic ass was even born.
yes, photos of the Earth were taken from the moon during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969. So, hello? What do you mean that nobody's taken a picture since 1972? By 2002, we
Wait. What? Did you even actually have a point there?
taken a picture. So,
And let's.
hello? Well, yes. Photos of the Earth were taken from the moon during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969.
Okay, so 1969.
So, hello? What do you mean that nobody's taken a picture since 1972?
Can't believe I have to explain time to you, but surprisingly, that wouldn't be the first time today I've had to explain the concept of the passage of time to somebody. I'm not even joking. And 1969 happened before 1972. Just like 2020 happened before 2024. I know. Crazy, right? We have these things called numbers. We use them to represent the years, and ever since we decided when 2000 or when the year zero was going to be, because of arbitrary bullshit based on a Christocentric world at the time, we've been counting up. And so, 1999 was before 2000, which was before 2001, which was before 2002. See, the numbers add up just like the smaller numbers you're used to, but you have that extra part in front. Now, that part's important most of the time, but sometimes you can remove it. So if I say, oh, it was the summer of 69, and I got my first real six string over at the Five and Dime, people know what I'm talking about. And if I say Spirit of 76, you know what I'm talking about as well. And if I say 1984 was a fucking bad year to be Sarah Connor, it was a bad year to be Sarah Connor. It's not hard to understand.
By 2002, we finally had enough data to make a snapshot of the entire Earth. So we did. The hard part was creating a flat map of the Earth's surface with 4 months of satellite data. Then we wrapped the flat map around a ball. My part was integrating the surface, clouds, and oceans to match people's expectations of how Earth looks from space. That ball became the famous blue marble. So
No, that's not the blue marble. He's talking about a fucking recreation of it based on data, modern data that had to be captured at particular time of day, at the particular time of day to match the blue marble. Holy fuck. One, I wish, the public relations agency, people for these agencies were better about this stuff. Two, I wish y'all had the remotest bit of actual reading comprehension. Three, you're a fucking idiot. Holy fuck.
you had to integrate the clouds and surface and basically everything. So you basically made up everything of how the Earth looks. Like pretty much.
Literally not at all what was said there. Not at all. But of course, whatever fits your narrative.
That's from what I'm reading. Everything was fabricated. And it was hard to come up with the flat map.
And you know what's sad is I'm having to be really nice here, and I've already said some pretty rough shit, but I'm really resisting the urge to go into some shit that would just be outright offensive. Because she is that stupid. Holy fuck.
No, it wasn't, because the Earth is already flat. What was hard for you was to make a flat surface go around a ball, because it doesn't belong that way, because it's not realistic. This is just crazy. Like, all this information is available and people just won't research it. Why? Because school told you.
Wow. It's almost as if all the actual information is out there, but you idiots won't actually look it up because it conflicts with your retarded ass idea of how reality goes. What a shocker. You're a fucking moron.
Because they told you, because the world told you. How about you do your own research? Like, and it's just annoying because people think I'm crazy or weird or something's wrong with me.
Yes, yes, and yes. You are crazy, you are weird, and something is most definitely wrong with you.
But no, like, I've actually just researched things and looked into them and didn't believe what everyone told me. Like I did for like the first 30 years of my life, but
What,
not
what,
anymore,
what,
bro. Like,
what,
you don't have to
what,
catch me being.
what, 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 what? Hold the fuck up. You're 30 plus. Well, I guess that explains the keep it 100 bullshit because, fucking young millennials and older Gen Z, and I hate to use generational shit, but hey, whatever, it'll convey to most dumbasses out there, love to talk in that kind of lingo, emoji lingo, for some reason. What the fuck? Wow. Wow. I don't know if that makes you more stupid or less stupid. I think more. Holy shit, that just broke my brain. Sorry, I need a moment. Oh, I forgot. I don't have weed. I don't either, you know. I don't smoke. But holy fuck, if I had some, I'd need it after this. Jesus fuck, whore mother of Christ, this is insane. But only is she 30 plus? Sound like she didn't believe in flat Earth before, yeah. But they oftentimes say that crap. They don't know what they believe because they don't know shit about stuff to begin with. If they did, they wouldn't fall for this garbage.
Deceived on something that they spread to the masses ever again. And
To the mosses? To the mosses. Hey guys, we're spreading things to the moss now. Club moss, we got it. The carpeted moss around some of the colder forests. We're spreading it to it. Moss on the side of trees, we spread it all over that shit.
I don't want this video to come off offensive or anything.
No, it didn't. It just came off making you look like a fucking moron. Mine's probably fucking offensive, but whatever. This is how I react to abject stupidity.
But it's just like more people need to wake up and more people need to realize that they've been lied to. And most
Yeah, they do, but not in the way you think.
importantly, realize that there is a king on the throne above that firmament named Jesus Christ who wants a relationship with you.
Must not want it very hard if the fucker can't just pop here and be like, hey, what up? It seems like that'd be pretty easy. Why is a Damascus Road experience good enough for Saul, but not good enough for me? And by me, I mean Matt Dillahunty, because I totally stole that from him. Why? Because it's an incredible thing to say.
If you enjoyed this video and it blessed you,
Oh no, I didn't enjoy the video, and there was no magical enchantment to be had here.
please like, share, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, I like share. Share's pretty damn cool. I'm not going to comment and I'm not going to subscribe because I'm not going to bring undue attention to the fact that I did this. If you discover I did it, then that's just your fucking problem. Deal with it.
So we can push this video out into the algorithm and get more people saved by the Lord Jesus Christ. And
Yes, saved from a whole lot of nothing. Oh, really need to hook this bitch up with Hovind. And by that I mean get him to argue about the Earth. That'd be funny.
wake up to all the lies that they've been telling us.
Ah, yes, the lies in the textbook.
So until I see you again, stay favored and stay blessed.
Piss off. Oh, fucking hell. Holy goddamn hell. What did I sign up for with this? Holy fuck. Oh man. In good news, it's 6:55, so Guild Wars reset's happening. I would rush off here to go and fight Tokatl the Sunless because events in Maguma Jungle are part of this week's weekly set of tasks to complete, and Tokatl is like 6 or 7 events together. So in 10 minutes you can have 6 or 7 events done. Plus that's my favorite fight in the game. Fucking love that. Yeah, I just wow. Wow. I mean, I truly had to hold back on this cuz let's be clear. I will say what I think, and I will think some horrible shit sometimes. Um, I pity any children that would ever come from her. um, I had to resist the urge to say some shit that could be seen as outright misogynistic. That's how much that idiocy pissed me off. And I hate that because I feel like stuff would be understood by my audience, but I also don't want to be such a complete asshole. Dropping C bombs is about the limit I'll go, and the R bomb occasionally. Um, but this is like the limit that I'll go to. But she pushed me further. And there's so much I wanted to say to just be a rude asshole, and I had to hold back. I'm not saying you need to appreciate it per se, or that I'm open about it. Um, there is a limit. I'll say it in my Discord though. I'll I'll say I'll say a lot of what I was thinking in there. I just wow. This is this was way too much. S'mores. Come on, the only one that matters is Guild Wars 2. Anything else is just time wasted not playing Guild Wars. Just that's my jam. Oh fuck, man. I have a headache. I have such a headache from this bitch. Oh man. All right. Well, it's 1:42 or 1:40. We've been an hour 42 minutes for this stream. I think I've about had it. I did not expect this. Holy crap. This was 84 layers of stupid. So if you want me to cover more of her stuff, just let me know, especially through if anyone's got the means or at the moment financial support, some super chats at the tail end or anything. Um, super thanks after the fact, anything like that. Uh, it helps. Sorry, I'm yawning like a mother. Overwatch, never cared, never was interested. It's not my kind of thing anyway. Shooters like that. I played Titanfall and Titanfall 2, but not something like Overwatch, the hero shooter. Not my thing. Um, yeah, but yeah, gonna go on to hop off here, fire up Guild Wars, try to have a good evening, get some dinner, yawn about 500 more times. And yeah, we'll just see where everything takes us. Much love. I'll catch everyone next time. Yeah, Deviant, you kind of, I would say you kind of helped bring this on, but it really boils down to I hurt myself today to see if I